All right, let's talk about money, but probably not in the way you're used to. We're going to skip the usual stuff about clipping coupons and really dig into the simple rules that are the bedrock of financial literacy, the rules that let you build real, lasting wealth. Let's get into it.
I want to start with just one number, 70%. Now just look at that for a second. What do you think it means? This number, well, it points to a huge misunderstanding about what it actually means to be rich. That's right, 70% of lottery winners go completely bankrupt. We're talking broke, and not after a lifetime, but after just a few years. I mean, just think about that. They get handed a mountain of cash, everything they could ever dream of, and somehow it just slips right through their fingers. So this begs a massive question, right? If suddenly having a ton of money isn't the actual solution to financial problems, then what on earth is? This is the puzzle we're going to solve today, and I promise you the answer is way more powerful than any winning ticket. This whole thing actually has a name. They call it the lottery winner's curse, and it's the perfect illustration of the real problem. See, the problem isn't a lack of money, it's a lack of knowledge. The real issue here is something called financial ignorance. And some sources say it affects over 90% of us. Just imagine a guy named Peter, right? He gets his $1,700 paycheck, feels rich for a minute, and what does he do? He immediately blows it on barbecues, gadgets, stuff that loses value. The money was there, but the knowledge of what to do with it, that was totally missing. So you have to wonder, if all this information on how to handle money is out there, and a lot of it is free, why do so many of us stay in the dark? Well, it turns out there are two major psychological walls that hold us back. First up, what you could call toxic conventional wisdom. Come on, we've all heard these, right? Money doesn't grow on trees. They're the kinds of things our parents and grandparents told us. They create this mindset of scarcity, teaching us to be kind of afraid of money and to run from powerful tools like debt, all because we don't really get how they work. We just absorb these limiting beliefs without ever stopping to ask, hey, is that actually true? And the second barrier? It's that all too human fear of leaving our comfort zone. Look, building wealth, it takes confidence. It means you have to be willing to take smart, calculated risks. But things like starting a business or taking out a strategic loan, they feel terrifying. And that fear, which often comes from just a lack of self-esteem, keeps people frozen, unable to take the very steps they need to succeed. So how do we actually break free from all this? Well, it starts with a huge shift in your mindset. The goal isn't just financial freedom. No, it's something much more dynamic, much more powerful. And this brings us to a really crucial idea. We always hear about financial freedom, right? But that's usually tied to the amount of money you have. It's a static number sitting in a bank account. What you really want is financial confidence. And that isn't based on a number. It's based on your ability to generate money. See the difference? One is a pile of cash that can run out, just like for the lottery winner. The other is a dynamic skill set that lets you build wealth over and over again. Now that is real security. Okay, so with this new goal of financial confidence in our minds, let's get practical. How do we do it? Well, there are 4 fundamental rules that will help you build that skill set and really master the game of money. So here's the roadmap. 4 simple but incredibly powerful rules. It all starts with knowledge, only investing in things you actually get. Then we reframe that scary topic of debt and learn to see it as a weapon for growth. The third rule is all about your headspace, adopting a think rich mindset. And finally, it all comes together with action, developing the actual skills you need to acquire assets. So let's break down that first one. This first rule is basically your ultimate shield. It protects you from scams, from bad advice, from FOMO. Before you put a single dollar into anything, stocks, crypto, real estate, whatever, you have to do your homework. The rule of thumb is if you can't explain how it makes money to a 5-year-old, you probably shouldn't be investing in it. So, where do you start? Where do you put your money first? There's a clear hierarchy here, and the order is absolutely crucial. You start with the one asset that you have 100% control over, yourself, your brain. Investing in your own knowledge is the foundation for everything else. After that, you can move on to your own business, then to tangible things like real estate, and maybe then the stock market. You're building from your strongest point and working your way out. Okay, rule number 2. This one goes directly against that toxic wisdom we talked about. We're taught that all debt is bad. End of story. But that's just not the whole picture. It's way more helpful to think of debt like a tool. And, like any powerful tool, a hammer, a chainsaw, it can be used to build something incredible, or it can create an absolute disaster. It all comes down to who is using it and how. So, how do you tell the difference? Well, good debt is strategic. It's when you borrow money to buy an asset that's going to make you more money, like a loan for a rental property or to expand a profitable business. Bad debt, on the other hand, is for liabilities, things that just suck money out of your pocket, usually with no realistic plan to ever pay it back. Rule 3 is all about your mindset. And no, thinking rich doesn't mean being arrogant or flashy. It means shifting from that defensive scarcity mindset to one of abundance and opportunity. It means you stop focusing only on saving pennies and you start focusing on creating dollars. I love this quote because it just gets right to the heart of it. Yeah, of course, being reckless is bad, but obsessively cutting tiny expenses isn't how you build wealth. The think rich mindset flips the script. It makes you ask, how can I earn more money to afford the life I want, instead of just asking, what else can I cut out of my life? And that question leads us perfectly into the final and most actionable rule of all. This is where the rubber meets the road. Instead of just working for a paycheck that you then spend, you focus on developing high-income skills that allow you to build or buy assets for yourself. So after all this, what is the one asset that matters more than anything else? The one that you already own right now, that holds the key to unlocking all this potential. But before I tell you, let's just lock in these definitions one more time, because they are everything. An asset puts money in your pocket. A liability takes money out of your pocket. That's it. The entire game of wealth is just acquiring more of the first one and getting rid of the second one. And there it is, your brain. Your brain is your number one asset, hands down. It's the ultimate money-making machine. Investing in yourself by learning valuable high-income skills, things like sales, marketing, coding, great communication, that's how you unlock its true value. That's how you build that unshakable financial confidence. This is the real secret. It was never about the lottery ticket. So I'll just leave you with this one question. Forget about just saving for a minute. Think about building. What is the next skill you are going to develop starting today to build your financial confidence and acquire your next real asset? That's the question that really matters.